Hello. Hello, family, friends, in the world. Hello, it is Monday, the 17th of October. How y'all doing? How are you all doing? Well, I'll start the week by continuing. I'll show some more singles. That was fun. I enjoyed sharing those. I really enjoyed the comments, and I don't watch a lot of videos, so I don't have a gauge of how often people show singles. But I love them. And I did do some singles listening yesterday. I put those away because it was a short session. I'm really refocused on the tracks that will be on my new album, and spent practically the entire day until 11 last night working on stuff. And you folks that make music, depending on your process, will know what I'm talking about. You get to a certain point with certain tracks where it's like it's starting to feel like it's finished, and then you get into minutia, right? Little details that no one else is going to ever hear, or if they do, you'll never know. But you want it. You want it like a certain way. That's where I'm at with with the tracks I was working on yesterday. Very satisfying. I'm really liking. These tracks are better than Future Still, and I love Future Still, my latest album. Like I said, I make this music for me, so it has to get past me first. And this new stuff is kicking. Okay, so let's look at some more singles. Like Mike of the In Groove in Phoenix, who I do enjoy his channel and watch it regularly. I could do 100 of these videos on singles. Like, for example, I'm going from my main boxes of singles out in the hall, but I haven't gotten into I have some specialty boxes in the closet. So I've shown some A through C, but none of the Bowie, Beatles, Catherine Wheel, and stuff like that, because that's in these other boxes. I'll show those sometime. I love singles, though. I do. And let's get another sip of this good coffee. Cheers. Okay, so what do we got? Not in any particular order. You know I love Faust. So when these limited edition singles came out years ago by Recommended Records, I jumped on them. Signed and numbered by Chris Cutler personally, drummer of Henry Cow and Art Bears. Must have. I got the other one too. Faust Party Extracts number 2. And just some must-have stuff for me. Faust are still I still count them as a central influence on me, even though as years went on, you could see where they got away with murder in some ways. I mean, they did some really groundbreaking work, but they also just farted around and did whatever they wanted. Which is, thank goodness they did, because they discovered some cool shit that turned the world on. Here's a recent addition to Faust. A free single that came with Electronic Sound magazine. A recent edition that featured a review of Future Still in it. And this came with the edition, with that edition of the mag. I don't have the picture sleeve, and I don't know if I ever did, but I have Flipper, Love Canal. One of those records, kind of like the Germs. Just important, you know. And when you listen to this, when I listen to it, it's apparent to me why this was so influential and noteworthy. It may sound like a mess to someone who doesn't know the history, but Flipper, it's an important single. Here's a cool one. One of those mono stereo promo singles I told you I have a bunch of. Albatross by Fleetwood Mac. What a beautiful song. Right? Peter Green on guitar. Fleetwood Mac Albatross single. I think someone sent this to me. I don't remember who. An early single by the progressive rock band Orme, Italian band. They started out as a pop band. This is back in their early days of being a pop band. Senti l'estate che torna. Che torna? Is it che? Are you there, Rob Panix? Can you help me? Mita mita. Le Orme. This is out of order. How did this happen? Okay, I gotta watch for that when I put them away because I found a misfiled. Well, I haven't found it. I wanted to play Metabolist, and it's misfiled, so I have to find it now. Another promo. I'd like to have more of these. Lifetime by Flash, the band that Peter Banks started after he was pretty much fired from Yes. You know, they found Steve Howe and they dumped Peter Banks. How uncool is that? But that's the way of the world of professional, I guess you want to call it pro music or just the world of music over the years. Bryan Ferry, Let's Stick Together. Particularly like the B-side of this, Sea Breezes, his old Roxy Music song, and I love that Island single. Really cool to see Roxy Music out on their 50th anniversary tour. Several people I know have seen the tour. I've watched a whole lot of footage from it because everything's on the internet now. Phil Manzanera in particular appears to be really enjoying himself. I like that. The Gossip and Sissy Spacek, split 7-inch single. Sissy Spacek with John Weiss. You ought to know about it if you don't. Noise, but I mean compelling noise. I won't say good noise, I'll say compelling. Very cool stuff, very cool. Here's a band that I do regret not going to their shows when they came to Omaha. Fugazi. This one is Hello Morning, number 5 in Furniture. Just seemed like something else was going on every time they came, and I just didn't make it to the shows. Here's one. The Free Design. Kites Are Fun. They were influential on Stereolab and many others. This one is just to me worth having because of who it is. Kim Fowley, In My Garage, Rubber Rainbow, double A side. Kim Fowley is just notoriously famous for his involvement in the music business promotion-wise, but also he was a scumbag, you know, and everyone that knew him and worked with him asked the Runaways, asked Joan Jett, asked a bunch of folks. But he was a pretty central character to rock and roll as it developed in the 60s and 70s. The original singer from Ultravox, John Foxx, Stars on Fire. Mr. Synths. He really doesn't have, well, I won't. I like John Foxx. Okay, we'll leave it that simple, all right? And the original Ultravox, too, very much so. Bad Gadget, One Man's Meat. I still have the first album. Very cool. Frank Toby. From the Punk Days. Patrick Fitzgerald, Safety Pin Stuck in My Heart. Here's one from a batch of Japanese singles I acquired. They were either I forget. Someone may have given these to me. But this is Focus with a Japanese pressing of their big hit Hocus Pocus. I remember that well when it came out because it was so different and I loved it. Friction Wheel. I don't remember how I came across this. I have to play this, but it came up and I said, Friction Wheel. Maybe someone knows these guys or maybe one of them is watching and can tell me more about this. Here's another one from the fella down in Australia I mentioned. I forget his name. I probably have the letters somewhere. But this, he says, was rare. Freshwater, a song called Satan, and that's what he wrote on here. Ultra rare, no hit wonders. I really appreciate, and over time, these sort of gifts, they, the value to me increases. This was so kind of this person. I've never met him. I have no idea who he is. To pick up on my love of music and records, and from that far away to just send me some. I love it. Free. Which one is this one? My Brother Jake. Free. Island. Love those pink rimmed. I love the different variations of the Island Records label. And the pink labels, the early ones, there's even earlier than pink, I understand. I've only got a couple of those. Would like to have more. Here's one from the punk days in England. Fatal Microbes. Just literally just children when they made the record. In particular, the drummer. But what's interesting, and it's also on the Small Wonder Records label. This was the label that some early Cure singles, or at least one, came out. I think the original of Killing an Arab is on this label. Small Wonder. This is cool. It's just very cool. Showing this because, again, maybe someone can tell me about the record, or maybe they're in the band. The Fiend standalone EP. Don't remember why I still have this. This one I'm pretty sure is members of Dag Nasty or something related to that band. Field Day. Searching for the answers, and I dare say someone sent this to me. I don't remember buying this. Field Day. They just played in Omaha. I didn't go. Members of RAF went, and they said it was fantastic. I don't think I'm getting this mixed up. Field Day. Progressive rock related. The 5 UUs. A single by them. This is very good. Hot and Cold Frog and Misery Loves Company. A 5 UUs 7-inch single. Love these guys, and they're in that rock in opposition area of progressive rock, like Henry Cow, Universe Zero. Stuff like that. Just really good musicianship and great writing. Another Japanese single. Prince related. The Family. The Screams of Passion. Love these Japanese imports and stuff made around the world. It's always intrigued me. But the high quality of Japanese manufacturers always, I love it. I love it. The whole story behind this, the family and Prince being super controlling of everyone. No surprise, you know. In the family. Here's one that was sent to me from England. I can't call his name. He's not on the internet anymore. But intriguing fella who used to own a record shop and was very knowledgeable. Is very knowledgeable. De Fabriek. The Lost Attic. It's a EP. And this is back in the days of late 70s, early 80s, where there was this intrigue and this messing with, what are the words I'm searching for? You see the image. It's a pornographic image. It's cropped, and yet you can still make out what's going on there. And it comes from a time when that was seemingly de rigueur about industrial music and other kind of fringy parts of post-punk, which I found interesting and had to explore and learn about myself. Throbbing Gristle being a big proponent of all that. Very glad I got to see Roky Erickson from the 13th floor elevators. And here's some singles of his. Creature with the Atom Brain. That's a good song, too. And the B-side, The Wind and More. UK import. Saw him when I played South by Southwest the first time. I played South by Southwest twice. Got to see him. Would like to have met him. It was too much of a, you know, I could have, but it was a bit, it was, I just said, okay, I got to see him sing. Here's another one, reissue. Mind, Bloody Hammer. I think there's a Light in the Attic reissue where they color vinyl and they do a mock-up of the old CBS label. If Roky Erickson isn't in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame by now, that's, to me, that's a crime. And then when these came out for Record Store, they had to get it. 13th Floor Elevators. Wait for My Love. May the Circle Remain Unbroken. Both great songs. Nice, collectible. Yeah. Eno. I made this cover for this back in the 70s when I got this. Eno. One side of this is King's Lead Hat, and then the other side is with the band Snatch doing RAF, apparently for Royal Air Force. That's pretty damn cool, though. Brian Eno and Snatch. Brian Eno, King's Lead Hat. Yeah, I got this when it came out. I was happy to see my favorite store, Homer's, catch on to punk, especially after the Sex Pistols, and they started to bring in stuff from England. Here's an Eno bootleg. The Lion Sleeps Tonight. I've shown this before. Bootleg. I love Manchester. I love England. And just different periods of hot activity have resonated with me. So when Echo and the Bunnymen and the Teardrop Explodes, Wah Heat, all that happened, I was there. The music, the songs hit me. This is a great single. Rescue, Simple Stuff, 1980, Echo and the Bunnymen. I even have the first one. Probably not a first edition, but you know how that goes. But from the beginning, the pictures on my wall, and read it in books. Good songs, good strong songs. still like to listen to those songs, and it's not just nostalgia. They're good. They're good songs. The Easy Beats, the AC/DC connection. The older brother of the Youngs was in this band. And here's one of their souvenir EP from Down Under. I do remember that they had the breakthrough hit Friday on My Mind. When it made it on the radio here, I didn't think it was that good, but I remember it. That do 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 do. That was the hook, and I didn't like it. I said, ugh. But it's a hook because this I don't remember the last time I heard that. I hear it right away in my head. So a very successful hook. Dutch band, Pop and Prog, Earth and Fire. Thanks for the love. Here's one that Mike showed that's pricey, and I don't know why. And I got this for free, and I forget exactly how, but God Punishes the Eat. And I preserved it the best I can, especially after the fact, because when I got it, I didn't like it, and really didn't rate it. I still don't understand why it's so pricey. It's up in around $200-300 range. And there's the sticker that was stuck on it. I didn't put it on there. Looks like there's something on the inside besides the record. It's pretty fat, but I have that, and Mike showed that. Here's one that goes back to the psychedelic days, although this is not really necessarily psychedelic, but it gets lumped in there. Euphoria. I'd like to get the album, though. I'd like to have the album, Euphoria. Another one from England. I don't know if this was one of their bigger songs or not, but the band Eater, they were kind of like Chelsea. They were one of the first, I think they were one of the first run-of-the-punk bands when people started to call themselves punk in England. And I think Eater was one of them. They have this in Outside View. You folks that know this stuff, share your thoughts and, let me know what you know. Spencer Davis Group, Moonshine, After Tea, when they were trying to pick up on the changing of the wind, the changing of the times, where they were soul originally, and then that's trying to be more psychedelic. Dungen, Festival 7-inch. Yeah, this is some great music, great band. I like Dungen a lot. Another band, amazing, and I knew they couldn't last because you can't play this music at this intensity for your whole life. You can't. You need your youth to be able to do it. The Dillinger Escape Plan. I got to see them live and hang out with them after the show. They were very nice, very cool people. Sandbox Magician. Cool stuff. I also like the way that they developed their sound. Just a few more here, because Durutti Column. I love Benny Riley. I get along without you very well. Old Hoagie Carmichael song. He does a beautiful version of Durutti Column. And a couple of Devo singles. I love Devo. When they first came out, really got into it. It was just what, again, it's like unique, individual, eye-catching. The music was electronic in part, and it was very punk too. The Day My Baby Gave Me a Surprise, and the B-side of this is awesome too. Penetration in the Centerfold. That also was fun, how the subtext of sexual, And here's one. This is not the very first edition, but it's an early one. Devo. Are we not men? We are all Devo. There's a couple different color variations on the inside that let you know if it's the first or second. This is second or third. It's not the very first, but this one goes way back to when Homer's finally started getting punk singles, and they got this in, and I grabbed it right away. Interestingly, with the Mute Records label, when the Normal put out Warm Leatherette, I got it right away, and I also got this at the same time, Deutsche Amerikanische Freundschaft. Interestingly, I kept this, but I didn't keep Warm Leatherette. I don't know why, because I liked it. And the Warm Leatherette is real collectible now. But this is very cool too if you've never heard this. DAF, their first single. And the last thing I pulled to show today, because like I said, I could go on and on. I could make 100 videos. I could, easily. I have a lot of singles, I do. Riverman by Nick Drake, a promotional vehicle, because this is not a single from when the album came out, but long after the fact, when they were doing those reissues. The date is probably on here. It's so small I probably can't make it out. 2004 is when this came out. So there's some more singles for you folks. That's fun. It is fun. Collecting is fun. So what's on my plate for today? Well, to trade some cassettes, actually, at Homer's. They put out the word that they were buying used and were actually looking for cassettes. I never thought about it, and I have a lot of cassettes, and the ones that are like, to me, just like collector's items I'm keeping, but there's a bunch that I found that I could let go of, and we'll see if they want them. So that's on my agenda, to go down there and do that. And then in the early evening, I have a Zoom with a professor at CSUN University out in California. This is my second. I've been requested to do a Zoom participation in a lecture for a class at CSUN University, some business class, and we're going to do the preliminary Zoom today where I meet the professor and the person who referred me. Fred Church, the guy behind that put out the Jostaberry album. I showed that, a good album from this year. That's what's on my plate. I hope that your day and evening, whenever you see this, is going well. Take care.